Il y a Marco qui dit, watching this makes me dream about not going back to work tomorrow, but rather leave for a bikepacking trip. Well, I'm glad to read this. I think it was the purpose of the film. And I've watched so many films on the Tour Divide. Like once I heard about it and I like my curiosity was triggered, and then you watch a lot of film, and then like I didn't want to make a film that was that seemed like it was hard. I wanted to especially inspire women to tell them that like it's possible. Of course it's hard, but it's feasible and it's fun. And if I can, like, there's been a lot of time since the race, and so like I took some time to process it before recording the narration or the interview, and because I wanted to have like a better perspective. And so I recorded the interview back in September, like 3 months after. And it's funny how much my thought process kept, like it's an ongoing process. It keeps kind of evolving. And now like it's been, I don't know, 6 months, and I'm like, it's interesting how similar the race on the Tour Divide, how similar it is to my career in a way, because like I achieved some great things in cycling. I'm really proud of my journey, of what I've done. I haven't quite reached everything that I wanted to do, but like once you like step back, it's like, oh yeah, like it doesn't really matter what I've achieved. It's the feeling that I gave everything. I went to my limit. I did the things that I was afraid to do. Like, and this is so empowering. It's not winning the race that matters. It's that feeling of overcoming your own limit. And it's really funny how like a week before the race, I posted this video. I wrote this text. It was like a voiceover video. And I said, I don't need to, and I wrote this a week before. I said, I don't need to reach a goal. I need to chase one. There was something powerful when I wrote this. I was like fully aware of that after, you know, winning some bike race and whatever. And it's like, I don't need to reach a goal. I need to chase one. Like when you have this goal, this mission, this is what brings the best out of you. And I'm so grateful that the race turned out to be, like, I was not expecting so much competition. Like, I didn't really, like, it didn't matter. I didn't study like, I had no idea. So this was totally, like, a surprise to me. I honestly thought I could maybe compete in the podium, but that's fine. It was just the fact that I didn't care so much about the result, but I wanted to go after it, to give it everything I had for me. It was not about, because, you know, sometimes when you win a bike race, maybe it's going to change the perspective of your value in the eyes of others. But when you push yourself to the point that you're surpassing your own limits, this is your own, like, perception, perceived value that you are changing. I don't know if that makes sense. And so... yeah, I'm so proud of myself. I felt like, and that's kind of why, you know, I look so happy in the end. It's like, I don't even care that I'm 8. Like, it doesn't matter. What I'm proud of is that I really gave it everything. And, like, it was awesome. I'm going to read some of your questions. Si vous parlez français, vous pouvez m'écrire en français, je vais vous répondre en français. If you speak in English or French, I'll answer in the language that you've Can you tell us about how to manage sleep? Keep going seems the key to doing well. It's funny because I'm gonna change my screen here so that it's kind of weird. There's like a 5 or 6 second delay. It's funny because I got the opportunity to chat with Lyle before the race, and this is what I wanted to like learn about. What is the strategy? And she was telling me how in like a few years ago, it was kind of the trend to sleep as little as possible and to keep going. And as the sport is becoming more professional and we are seeing more professional athletes doing this, so there's more data that shows that having more sleep is actually better because you're just too slow. When you skip sleep, what happens is that you waste time in all you're slow, and then I would get a gas station and just like look at the food and just not able to make decisions, try to calculate, I'm just not efficient. And so, and I knew this, like I thought I was going to be disciplined with my sleep and like time trial, not looking at what others are doing, just follow your own pace. And I just got caught, just like a rookie. I got caught in the competitiveness and I just started making mistakes, and I knew better, but I guess I did the same mistake. So I think doing that again, I would definitely try to have a more disciplined sleeping schedule, because I mean, I would like to try it and I'm still kind of debating whether I do it again or not, but I'm going to do definitely, if I don't do it again soon this year, I'm going to do some other stuff, and I want to see what, if that would work better, like in what proportion, or where is the fine line, you know. Il y a Loette qui demande est-ce que cela t'a demandé beaucoup de préparation? She's talking about preparation. Yeah, it's been like in 2022, I rode the course kind of with the gear that I had, with an older mountain bike, and just kind of winging it. And so I thought doing it again, I just had to, you know, I had 1 year to improve my setup, but it was just never, I needed another year. Just getting the gear ready was so much time consuming that I ran out of time to put the hours in training. J'avais dit je répondais en français, puis là je suis rendue en anglais. Ben oui, ça a été beaucoup de préparation. Tu sais, même si je l'avais déjà fait, même si j'avais déjà fait des voyages de bikepacking, c'est comme si tu veux toujours améliorer ton setup. Puis c'est comme si il y a plein une fois que tu as comme ton setup principal, que j'ai le vélo, j'ai les gros morceaux principaux, il y a toujours un petit peu de fine tuning, puis ça a été 1 année là, puis après ça étudier le parcours, prendre des notes, ça a été une bonne année là de préparation pour ça. Sandra, there seem to be a few low points. What mental tricks do you use to get past through moments? It's funny, and I think we can see. I'm glad that I had the camera because it was interesting. I don't think I would have remembered, but seeing it on the camera, hearing me talking out loud was interesting to see. I think it's just natural in me. I've just developed my mental resilience so much through training that I'm able to recognize when I have a negative chatter. Like when I was coming down from Union Pass, I'm like just complaining about everything. And then I'm like, what would energetic Marie say? Oh, embrace the suck. Oh yeah. And then I kind of like flipped the switch and I went straight into, so it's like with fatigue, it would take me a bit more time before I switch my mindset, but many time I could, or even like earlier in the race, there's like, what is the goal for today? Fast. And I was like, I said, my butt hurt. No, like nothing hurt. The only thing that would hurt is the idea that I wasn't able to give my best. And I think it's just natural for me. When you get caught in these negative chatter, I think it's just to, and I talked about this in the last indoor cycling session, it's just to like accept what is, not fight it, not resist it. I don't necessarily try to talk myself into motivation. You just become in a non-judgmental execution. So instead of waiting for my chatter to become positive, I just try to like not look at my numbers, like just breathe, turn the pedal, just quiet. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of what I would do in training as a pro cyclist. Lisette, merci d'avoir écouté. Peter says, hi, thank you for capturing and sharing your experience. What did training look like in preparation for the event? Well, so I was training as a pro cyclist before, so that was kind of like my background. But I was a very explosive type of rider. I was a criterium. That was my strength, like these acceleration, sprinting, good sprint, good punch. So I should have done more endurance riding. I ran out of time. I think what I would suggest doing for someone wanting to do this would be like ride easy, zone 1, zone 2, and if I'm going to change something is to try to reduce my carbs intake and reduce my intensity and just get used to that level of intensity. Like it's useless to train VO2 max for this type of stuff. Chris says, I remember saying to someone that the winner is not the person who does the TD in the least days. It's the rider who has the most fun and the best experience. They achieve the most. Well, that's true. I mean, I still think the winner is the one who touches the gate first. I think there's something fun in it. And as long as, and I think I have a good relationship with competition where like it drives me. But it was also a game. Like I was playing the game of racing. I call it the bicycle game. It's so I think it's possible to be competitive and to have fun. And yeah, so I think even if I was 8 and I was like, I'm gonna get them, you know, it was still like, there was a difference between like who I am and my value and then my result. Like my result or my performance, like, you know, doesn't really affect how much I value myself. So I think I'm able to like have fun in the process. Kaylee says, not only did you race this wild ride, but you also produced, shot, starred in, and directed an entire feature-length, incredible film while you raced. Astonishing. Thank you. And I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to make the film because I've got zero funding. I did pitch the idea, and then the fact that we can't have a media crew, for me, it was not an issue. I think it would have been possible to make a film to talk about the story and not so much focus on the inside of the race. But anyway, in the end, I didn't get any funding, and I was like, you know what? I'll bring the camera and I'll see. And it actually took like a good month, like maybe 6 weeks before I look at the footage of my camera because I didn't remember anything. I was like, there's nothing good. I don't remember anything. And then I started looking. I was like, oh my God. Oh, and then I was like, okay, let's make a film. But again, it could have been a 10-minute film. Like when I started doing it, I had no idea. And I think that's the only way that I could do it, was not having any pressure to do it, not having a specific direction and then I think it was in September, I got on the phone with somebody who I haven't spoken in some time, and she was like, "Oh yeah, what? Yeah, you did something this summer. Tell me about it." And then I started kind of telling the story, and I was like, "This is," and it took maybe an hour recounting the race, and I was like, "That's it. I need to record exactly this." So it's actually in September that I was like, "This is how I want to tell the story," and so I organized something with a friend, and then we recorded this. And but thank you, Nadia. Thanks for being here, Nadia. Good to see you. This film is amazing. To ride this endurance race and suffer and still capture it on video is so fantastic. You capture the highs and the lows and mental fortitude so well. Huge congrats to you. Thank you. Chris says, I love the way that all the racers seem to be open and help other racers. Nobody seems to hide their experience or get one over another racers. Everyone wants everyone to do their best. That's so true. And that's not the case in road cycling. No, but I think that's why bikepacking is special, is that it's, I mean, also, like, there's nothing to win. We're all there for our own goal. It's not, there's not the gimmick of, like in the first, I talked very quickly about Benny, because he was like, Marie, you're going too fast. But he was like, at some other point, I was struggling when he passed me, and he was so positive. Like, Marie, you got this. You're so strong. Like, I believe, like, I remember I cried with some of the things he was so supportive. And I was like, this is so not road cycling. This is special. Peter says, thank you for your reply to my question. Very much appreciated the sharing your experience. Thank you for watching. Do you mind, where are you from, Peter? Where are you watching from? Cynthia says, one, do you think the two girls who rode together had any advantage? Two, not a question, but a comment. I think you won your race. Thank you. You achieved your personal goals. That's so true. The two girls who rode together, well, they finished together, but I don't think they draft each other. I think they probably rode side by side. I don't think, no, that's, I don't know. I mean, it was my problem for not being up there. And I think, I don't know if that's an advantage, but I was so close to the girls. Like, it sounds silly because I'm like 7 or 8 the whole time, but I was like 20K. I was so close. I couldn't. So I was like on the edge. So like, in a way, I don't know if I got an advantage for being so close and not having the pressure. Like, I much prefer being behind and having the possibility of catching somebody rather than being like, oh my God. So actually it was great. I'm glad it turned out like this. Kaylee says, curious about hydration because I think I would stress about this. Yeah, I did a little bit, especially in New Mexico. How did you plan your water intake and where and when you could refill? So I did have electrolyte, my favorite kind of electrolyte, and I had enough for like maybe 2 weeks, but I should have bring more because then you buy some stuff, but then it's not your stuff, and then so I would have these small packets of electrolyte and the tabs, and I would have a few a day, and then also protein intake. But so I have a filter. In the first half of the race, there's water source everywhere, so I would rarely carry more than 2 liters because you don't want to carry too much weight. Even in the beginning, I would have like a bottle or 2 and then refill. But then going into New Mexico in the heat, I needed more water. I think I carried like 4. I think I would I would like to have more capacity. So yeah, we have a filter, so we use like any water source, rivers, whatever. And then there's some gas station every like 150K or so. I think the longest is like just under 300 kilometer. So for that stretch, but then like at night, it's not as hot, so you don't need as much water. So it's like, oh, okay, if I'm gonna do this section at night, I don't need much water. And that's why at some point I kind of freaked out because I was gonna sleep, and then I was like, no, that means if I don't do this 5 hours of riding tonight, like I'm gonna need so much more water if I do it tomorrow. So then I'm like, oh, I gotta ride, but then I was just too tired. So if I had more water, I could have sleep. So like little mistake. Chris racers, and we're really proud of it. Bad Hall, Mike's mom, he's a key driver and supports the race. It's a great free race for anyone who wants. Well, free race. I think this whole thing was like, I would say 10 grand, 10,000 for like just the time, the gear. I mean, I changed my bike, the hotel, the logistic, the flight, eating in gas station for 21 days. It's not free, but I know what you mean. Yeah, there's no entry fee. So yeah. Peter says he's off from Wales in UK. Awesome. Cynthia, I wondered if it helped mentally to ride together. Yeah, I mean, probably. I know some people. I know, for example, I know that Lyle rode with this guy for sometimes. And I mean, just like Nathan was riding with George a lot. To me, I'd rather have my music. I'm so like, I never felt alone. Like I'm just fine riding at my own pace in my bubble and my like keep going. So I don't know. I think I would have been distracted if there was somebody. So, but I don't know. It depends how it happens. Chris says, it's funny how your perception of distance changes. You say 150K as if it was just around the corner. That's so true. And like, that's one of the reasons, why I wanted to race the Tour Divide in the beginning. It was like, I wanted to be the person at the finish line who's done it. And I was like, imagine how much transformed I would be. Like, if I had the confidence that I could do this, if I had the confidence that I can ride 150K like it's around the corner, and it was like, I'm not ready yet, I'm not that person yet, but the only way to become that person, it's to do it. And so this was one of my main reason of why I wanted to do it. It was the transformative journey of like, I want to become that person at the end. Chris says, not sure you answered the first part. I'm not sure what you mean, Chris. What question did I not answer? Est-ce qu'il y a des questions en français? J'ai-tu... Le film va rester en ligne. Donc, vous pourrez l'envoyer à vos amis. Il y a mon vélo aussi, s'il y en a qui ont des questions sur mon vélo. I have my bike as well, if anyone have questions about the bike, my setup. About, Chris says, about female and male. I'm not sure. Where did I miss a question? I'm not sure what you mean with your about female and male question. I'm not sure what's the question. Sandra says, what one piece of equipment could you do without, and what piece of equipment were you happy to have? I was gonna say, I think I brought too much. but no, because having too much gear also gives confidence, knowing that you're prepared. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep carry things that I don't need just because it brings confidence. So, for example, I had this vapor barrier jersey to keep my core, because rode when I rode the Tour Divide in 2022, or the Great Divide, whatever, I was shivering at night, and then there was one night that I got really, really scared, and I was so afraid of being cold. This was like my number one fear. I mean, grizzlies, but I had dealt with grizzlies. Now the cold was something that higher risk of encountering a problem. So I reached out to this company, Warm Light Gear. They're based in Maine, on the East Coast, not too far, and they make vapor barrier clothing. And I know it's kind of some people have like a strong opinion, but then the more I was reading about it, because the problem when you get in a bivy, like even if you put on so many layers, what happens is that you're sweating in your layers, there's condensation, and then your sleeping bag gets wet, and then everything gets wet. And then the problem is not the amount of layers, is that you get wet. And so vapor barrier was a smart way to keep the heat inside, but also to prevent the other layers of becoming wet. But then what happened is that I've never like slept, I think maybe once, like on day 3 or something, but like I've never like camped. I would like sleep in hotel, or then like just fall off my bike by fatigue and just have like a 1 hour nap, 2 hours nap. But like I've never like, okay, I'm going to sleep, I'm gonna get ready for sleep. No, I was just falling asleep. And so I've never got to put on my vapor barrier clothing, but it's something that I had. And I also had vapor barrier socks, and I've tried it in Colorado 2 weeks before the race, and it just warms your feet. So I didn't use it, but I had it. I think I would bring it again. I think one change that I'm thinking of making is to go with a rear rack, just to have more space, because I have a X small frame. I was really tight with gear, so that's maybe something that I would do to have more quicker way of getting in and out with my gear. Chris says, do you think that endurance bikepacking is a sport where male and female competition is as equal as it is possible to get? I don't know. There's many layers in your questions. We can talk about fundings, and we can talk about like physiology. I mean, we see it in Ironman and triathlon, where like the time are getting like very similar. But I'm not sure, like when I see things like Lachlan Morton, and I'm like, I raced La Course by Tour de France. I raced twice World Championships. Still, I can't train full time. I don't have, I've never got the support even close to what he's getting. And so it's like we're comparing apple and oranges. I'm still working. I even when I was pro cyclist, I wasn't training full time. So it's like, is it fully equal? I mean, it's not his fault. It's the system. It's changing. Media are starting to put more women in the media, so therefore sponsors are more interested in getting in. But I will still say that there's a big gap between male and female, just because we don't have the resource to train as much as some of the men. So there's a gap there. But I think, yeah, endurance, it's been proven that the longer the event, the more kind of equal it'll get in terms of like performance. Happy to have must be MP3 player. I mean, not even, just my phone on Spotify. I had downloaded like a bunch of playlists. But yeah, for sure, music. Peter says, when you mentioned changing tires around halfway, did you change the type of tire? Yeah, I did, and it was planned. I started with more robust tire because it was a choice. I didn't have the confidence of a skilled mountain biker, so to me, and I didn't want to have flat tires because I'm not comfortable with that, and so I chose the Maxxis 2.2, and then I did get caught in the mud, and then some riders were like riding, and I was stuck just because of the clearance. I was like, yeah, clearance is kind of important. But I knew I was going to change to smaller tire for the last half of the race. That was before knowing how technical New Mexico was going to be. So I kind of regretted putting a gravel tire because then I was like, I kind of miss my big tire. So it's like, there's no, I don't know what I would put on. I think I would maybe go with the Mescal 2.1, just like everyone. That's not what I did, but yeah. So I switched for, I put on a 50, was it a 50 or 45? I put on a gravel tire in the back, and I was just slipping on Indiana Pass. So something between the mountain bike tire and the gravel tire. There's not much in that middle, like fast rolling, Marie-Claude qui dit damn XS frame. Yeah, that's the reality of having a small frame, and this is something that is not talked about enough. Like, we only see like on bikepacking.com these nice setup, and it's like, yeah, but this is not feasible for like women of, I don't know, 5'4" or 5 and less. I'm 5'2", so it's like, even like my like now the handlebar bag is not like fully, but when it was full, it was quite close. Like, I needed like these bungees to like really strap to my aero bar. Final question. Chris says, are you riding Tour Divide 2024? I'm and this is the question that's been asked when I did the local screening. I want to. I haven't fully committed yet, just because it's a lot of money. It's the most expensive of free race. And it's not just that. It's like, if I'm going to do it, I need to dedicate the time in training. I need to spend the hours. It's the time, not just the time of the race, but it's like a good 6 months. So I'm going to try to make time for it. I'm making time for it now, but I'll see how it goes and if I'm able to still work while training. So we'll see how it goes, if I feel like I'm ready for it. Because, yeah, I kind of did it twice. So it's like, finishing it is not going to bring me much. I've already overcame all these fears. So it's like, if I do it again, I need to like do better. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe later. And there's some other races. So this is all, I like finishing the film was like once, like in October, I started working on the film, like kind of pretty much full time. And so like releasing it now today, it's like, okay, like now next chapter, let's see, I just finished. I was hosting a boot camp. I do like indoor cycling classes, live stream on YouTube for women. There's a website called womensride.ca where women can sign up and join the private live stream. And so I did this big boot camp in January. So it's like that just kind of finished. So like now I'm ready to look at what's coming for 2024. Cynthia says, any interest in the Ride Across America race? I think this is a road on the pavement, and I'm not really interested in riding road because cars, I'm really afraid of cars, and the way that I was zigzagging in some of the trail, I can't do that on the road. I think it's and so, no, I think the Tour de Ride was exciting in being off-road. There was this like discovery, exploring nature that was really appealing. So more than the freaking competition pavement. Best wishes. Really enjoyed both the film and the informative Q&A. Very best of luck for whatever you decide to do for 2024 and beyond. Thanks, Peter. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you watch it. Thanks for your questions. The film will stay on YouTube, and if like any of you is like tempted to maybe doing it, feel free to reach out if you have questions whatsoever. I'll be happy to help. So all right, thank you. Peace. Ciao. Merci Marie-Soleil, merci Bravo, merci. Merci d'avoir été là. That was fantastic. Thanks, Chris. Merci Ingrid. All right. Bye-bye.